For this video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to make a new project called the button calculator. And to get started, I would just like to go through the a few of the options in here for my calculator. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my form here. And in my form, I'm going to go to the buttons, and I'm going to put 4 buttons on here. Oops. So I click button 1, button 2, I click and add another button, button 3, and button 4. I'm also going to put a label for each so we can see what happens when I push each button. And I'll put a label here, 1, label 2, label 3, and label 4. And what we did last class is we learned in Visual Basic that we can change things at runtime. So for example, if I want to change what is in label 1, I can write the code here by double clicking on the button. So when I click on the button, and I can say label 1, I can say that my label 1, the text in it, by using the dot notation. So I go me.label1.text, and I can say that it's equal to, and I put in quotation marks, hello world or something. And so if I press play, you'll see I can modify what is going to go in the label. Notice I use quotation marks. If I want to change it so it's going to do a calculation, instead of doing the text saying hello world, I want it to tell me what is 5 plus 2 to the power of 3. And I use the equals notation. It's called an assignment operator. And what it assigns is everything on the right-hand side. So 5 plus 2 to the power 3 is going to get assigned to the left hand. In other words, my label's text is going to equal whatever that number is, and I have no idea what it is. So let me press play this time, and you'll see that indeed when I press the button, what that value would be is 13, and I believe that's true. Now if I wanted it to actually just display the characters 5 plus 2 to the power of 3, I'd put it in quotation marks, and then you'll see it would display that. But that's not what I want. I want it to do a calculation. So we can get the computer to automatically calculate things, and that's going to be useful for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this for now, and I'm going to actually make this a better program. What I'm going to do is when I click on the properties of button 1, I'm going to call that I'm going to put the text of, I'm going to put the text of not button 1, but I want to put the characters. So these are just characters. So I would, and you'll say, oh, you're not using quotation marks. Well, that's because this is a text box. I don't have to put quotation marks in here. It already knows it's a string. But if I was using the equal sign, I would then have to put quotation marks if I wanted to keep the characters. So I'm going to just put that as a label, and the name of that button, button 1 is fine, I guess. This next button, I'm going to put a different calculation, and I'm going to use 4 divided by, the slash is division, and so that's 4 divided by 2 plus 5. And for this button here, I'm going to do 3 plus 4 times 2, and then for the last one I'm going to put what is on page 53, 7 minus 3 plus 2, and you'll see it's gonna do the calculations. How is it going to do the calculations? Well, let's add the code now. So for the first one, I want to add the code in this button. So I say me.label1.text equals, and in quotation marks, you'll see I'll put that. In this next one, I'm going to put the code here. So me label2 dot text is equal to that, and I'm going to do the same thing for label 3 and label 4, and this is going to be the calculator program that I'm going to get students to make in just one moment. So it's a good practice to see how it works. And finally, if there's one last thing I probably should have done, is I should probably clear label 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, I could go in here and I could go and delete all the characters. That's one way I could do that. Let me show you another way I could do that. Another way I could do that is I could go here where it says General, and I could say Form Events, and one of the form events is Form Load. And in great. So anyhow, I'm going to get you to make this program. And if I wanted to anyhow, that's where we'll